Hello everyone, my name is Jianing Tang and this is my one-third review. Here is the object that I chose after the first day of the class. All of the work are based on this original object. Here is the progress of my first group. I tried to do some simple transformation, split them, and then recombine them together to a new object. And then here is my progress of the secondary group. I used some spheres, cuboid, and ellipsoid to substrate massive places. And then I found that I limited myself to the original object. I have to jump out of it. So I duplicated, reoriented, and then recombined the second regrouped one as a new one, which is my first composition here. And here are the physical models of my first composition. Because it was my first time using the 3D printer, there were lots of problems, like the supporting materials are too hard to remove, and during the printing, the object shifted to the right. But after several times of try and fix, everything becomes better during the later printing. And here is the progress of the first regroup. Like what I did before, I consider the second regrouped object as the original object, and I duplicated it, reoriented, and used some ellipsoids, spheres to cut massive parts, and finally recombine them together as a new one. And here, let's take a close look at the fourth regrouped object. After keep recombining objects together as a new one, I try to decompose them at this time. As you can see, I decomposed the fourth regrouped object to 7 parts and reconsidered each of them as a new original object and did several transformations to each of them. And here is the thing I did. After decompose the original object into 7 different parts, I did the same thing I did before on each of them. I reoriented, duplicated it, scaled it, and then recombined them together to a new one. I did the same thing on 7 different parts and tried to find a best one. The familiar object was split, combined, split again, and recombined several times, and evaluated at each step for how it could move away from a single assembly of parts and get closer to a combined object. How one combination became another followed a transformation path that sometimes involved the adding of mass, and that sometimes involved the subtraction of mass. Eventually, the components were duplicated, accumulated in the search for an articulated surface that hinted at an architectonic space in its interior. The transformation from a familiar starter object to the evocative final architectonic object was completed through physical model investigations. Please take a look at my final composition, and then please take a look at my final physical model. When I was making the physical model, I tried to use three different materials. First, I tried to 3D printed the first part of it, and then use a laser cut to finish the half of the bottom part of it. And then I used silica to case the last part of it. And then let's take a close look at my final physical model. And finally, thank you for watching.